Welcome. This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Zen Tangle Teacher, and today's lesson is this beautiful Columbine by Tricia Long, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I loved coloring this one, and I used Artista watercolor pencils. And I used, this is kind of it's called Aquamarine, and I used a Jelly Roll by Sakura. So today I'm going to color, I'm going to draw, and then I'm going to color with the, what color is this one? Magenta. So we're going to start out with Columbine, and I'm going to use my pen, and we're just going to start with a small circle. And then I call a leaf or little petal, and we only want 5. And so to make these even, we want to come kind of at a diagonal. So we kind of divide it in, not quite thirds, but this is a third, and then we can put this one here, and we have more of a 5, and then we echo it. And we have to remember that organic tangles don't need to be perfect. And once we got this part, we want to make the little Columbine leaf. And you want to keep this fairly small. And I rotate my tile as I do it. And there we have Columbine. It's fairly plain until we color. So we'll do another one. A little circle, then a petal, a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. And then we want to aura these petals. And you can see I'm turning my tile. I think it helps when you aura or when you draw Zentangle to draw in the most comfortable way. And so I always rotate my tile. And it's kind of a little bracket petal that goes around. I like to do combinations of either 5, 7, 9, odd numbers. It seems to balance it out a little better. Take your time. And think about what you're doing as you tangle. And you can see I put this one fairly close to the other two. So now our little other leaves are going to have to kind of go behind in a holly-bow fashion. So it just looks, you have to do the start and the end. So it looks like it kind of goes behind. I think I'll put one more up here. You're welcome to fast forward through this to get to where I'm coloring if this is like driving you crazy. All the way around. We make that little petal. Now I just have 4 here, so I want to add one more because I want to have an odd number. So I look here to see where can I add one more, and I'll put one right here. Okay, and there we have Columbine. Now to add more to this, we could add a few more Columbine in there, but I'm just going to go in here and fill in this background with orbs. And then color in the background behind, blacken that in. So that we have that blackened in. We could put a few more out here if we wanted. And just blacken in. And another thing I did on this one is I did little tiny just dots with my pen around the outside edge of my little flower. Let's color and then we'll come back in and add a few more things. So I'm going to take the Artista watercolor and these are woodless. They are a dream to sharpen. And another thing I like about them is save the shavings, because it's pure watercolor. You can put that on something and make a background with it. So you want to save those. So I'm just going to add a little bit of magenta right here. And I'm going to come back in with my marker after we finish watercoloring. And now I'm going to take odorless paint thinner, and I have it in a little tub, and somebody just asked about it, so I'll show you what I use. I use a low thinner, a low odor paint thinner. I'm going to come in because it's got several different languages. It's got several different languages, and that might help those in other countries who speak something else to find this type of blending. So this is what I use. And now I'm going to take my shading stump, and I see that mine has a little bit of stuff on the end of it, probably from the last little thing I did, so I need to clean that off. So I'm just going to take an emery board, and I'm just going to file off that color, because I really don't want that on there when I'm coloring. So now it's fairly clean. It's not real sharp, but that's going to be okay. So I am going to moisten my shading stump with the odorless paint thinner. Now I know you're thinking, what? She said these were watercolor pencils. They are, but I don't get as much control with how my my stuff blends if I use water. So I am going to use odorless paint thinner. And you can see, oh, I wasn't even on the, and you can see that it just blends it out, just fades it out to almost nothing. I just love how that works. And it doesn't take much. When my sponge gets a little dry, I take my odorless paint thinner, and I just put a little bit to moisten that sponge a little bit. And I do this with colored pencils or any watercolor pencil or regular color pencils will do this same thing. But you can see how this blends right out there. And I didn't I can blend quite a bit without having to re-moisten. That odorless paint thinner goes quite a long way. So now I'm going to take my my purple jelly roll. And I love how that just kind of sets it off. With this, it looks a little blue, but that's okay. My camera light's causing it to look blue instead of purple, but it really is a purple color. I want to make sure I don't put my hand in the jelly roll ink. It takes a little longer to dry than the other inks. So now we have it colored in with our colored pencil. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to add my little dots just around the outside edge. We're going to call this pixie dust. I just returned from the Grand Canyon. Had a great vacation. It is breathtaking. Is all the way I can say. Hiked a lot of miles, but it was so worth it. Okay, so now I've done my little pixie dust. Okay, and now I'm just going to add a few more things just to balance this out a little bit. And my students will know that I really can't remember the names of tangles. I think this is Springer, but I'm not really sure. I'll look it up and put it in the description below. So I'm going to do another one just so you can see. Come around like you're doing a muka. And then we're just going to cap off the top. And I put a little cap here and fill this in. I love Springer. I think it just adds. And then of course, a little fescue. But you can see you can really just add a lot. Now, I'm sure that jelly roll has dried, but I'm going to put just a little line right on top of my flower. Just a little stroke in there. And that kind of helps add a little movement to that leaf and just makes it so it's not so flat. What I do is I start at the center and then I lift as I come out to the edge so that it doesn't have a blunt tip. It kind of fades off. And now I'm going to put several of them inside of here, that little space. I'll come in so you can see. In here. If I were to put it in before, the jelly roll would cover it right up because it's so opaque. That was a little flat, but that's okay. We can rescue anything. There's no mistake in Zentangle, only opportunity. So we can, if you get out there and you didn't make enough of a curve around, if you made it too flat, you can fix it. And there we have the beautiful Tangle Columbine. Now you can do a little shading with your graphite if you want, but I love just the color. I think this one might be my favorite. Oh, forgot I went back in and put a, well, there's no mistake in Zentangle, so we're just going to put a little turquoise in there. I like that. Anyway, we'll just put another little one right over the top of that. Because it's so opaque, I can do that. And then I'll put a little bit of pixie dust out here. And there we have Columbine by Tricia Long. And isn't that a gorgeous little tangle? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends. Support this channel. Comes from shopping at inkadoodles.com. Or subscribe to my Patreon. I'll put a link below. And thanks for watching and have a great day.